coming from Division 2, if I'm not mistaken. They were they first or second place in Division 2 last season? I want to say they were first.
We got to hold those horses. We might have a good old-fashioned team fight right off the bat at game number 1. And it looks like Simply TOOBASED will lose their carry. Empyrean is donezo. Wait, is that's not the carry. That is a support gyrocopter. Don't get excited. Don't get ahead of yourself, Cinderin. It's just a support. But First Blood goes away with the cut.
And, well, the thing about First Blood is it doesn't matter what role it is. They give the same gold. So
that is true.
It is full value no matter and time
You're
around.
muting yourself, Cinderin.
That is very
good
unfortunate.
Effort.
That can happen.
Yep.
Unfortunately for, or I don't know, depending on your perspective, the First Blood going to the Death Prophet here, the position 5 of the cut, is going to be both good and bad here. Will, as a result, start the lane with a stick and an extra salve. So should give them a very, very good start in that top lane. Yeah, so I was saying the cut has impressed me this season as a team that got promoted from Div 2 last season around. A lot of the time with these teams moving up, they are, you know, sometimes outclassed when they get promoted and they get knocked down again. I feel like what we've seen from the cut this season should probably end them around the middle of the pack. Maybe 5th, 6th, which I guess is technically lower half, but definitely above the relegation line. And this is the series that should almost cement it if they can grab a win here and get those 2 wins. So,
yep. Almost being the key word. Although their next matches are not against any, I think they've already gotten the top teams out of the way.
And they did take a game off EG. So
yes.
Even there, they were kind of close to getting a big upset win.
I think the best team that they're playing next is Wildcard, and I'm trying to remember what that last matchup will be. But yeah, getting this one will put them in pretty good position to stay upper division, but they're not going to be fighting for much more than that. But let's talk about the lineups here, as an arrow is going to connect from way far away. And Overlam trying to keep the Bloody Sky at bay with that percentage-based damage of the Spirit Siphon. But Scourge McDuck will live. Probably missed a CS there or so from being stunned for a million.
I'm actually not sure if that arrow was intended for him or for the range creep, because what Mirana 4 will often do, especially in a lane like this with Dragon Knight, is just ensure every range creep with arrows, and then you get that level 2 or maybe level 3, and perhaps you start looking for a kill. It definitely didn't feel like a kill attempt. But maybe they just wanted to harass a little bit. Either way, turned out just fine. So what were you asking again?
I don't remember, Cinderin. As the arrow is going to hit thanks to the setup from that Dragon Tail. I mean, this is a combo we've been seeing time and time again. But Overlam is going to be fine thanks to the heal. Scourge McDuck already popped the meta, but
might come in handy here that Overlam got the First Blood, so he already has these stick charges and has that salve on backup in the backpack. Yep. Might want to swap it in and use it sometime soon. He's actually 400 off max health, so would get almost full value out of a salve right now. But maybe he's sending out tangos. Yeah, he is. So he wants to reserve the salve and sending out double packs, actually. So really just wants to ensure that they can stay afloat here and just farm. So far, so good.
I remember what I was going to say, Cinder, which is very important. We're going to see the right-click battle of the ages here. Flea able to leap away. Overlam is fine as well. So the lineups of each respective teams, they haven't really talked about that too much. Obviously, from Simply TOOBASED, they have a ton of homing missile. You have, I'm assuming Yules is going to be eventually there for Ryoya to set up his own Aether Remnant into Arrow with Dragon Tail set up as well. They have a million stuns. But how does their lineup shape up against the cut?
I think in the carry department, this is a very good Terrorblade game. I don't see too many problems for him. I think maybe a last pick of another hero than Void Spirit could have made his life a little harder. Add on top of that the Void's matchup here in mid is rough, so Ryoya should not be coming out of a great laning stage. But yeah, like you said, there's plenty of stuns. I would actually imagine Ryoya does not go Yules here, despite being against Death Prophet Silence, because I think he needs Kaya Sanji in this game to really shine. They need that extra bit of damage, and because they have other setups, the Yule isn't mandatory. You can always combo it off a Dragon Knight stun or the Homing Missile. Ollie will be okay here, but losing all of his mana bar. Kieran should be able to mango him here if he wants. We'll salve him for now. And yeah, to top that off, also a pretty decent 5 DP game, I think. If he gets like one item so that he doesn't get immediately killed in a burst. Death Prophet's matchup against Dragon Knight is great. We've seen that earlier in the tournament. The Silence, as I just mentioned, can come in handy here. So
Homing Missile killed just in the last moment.
Empyrean might have gone a little
strike
here.
Yeah. Bushwhack is there as well. Empyrean trying to do as much damage as he can with that Rocket Barrage. But the right clicks with that Caustic Finale proc are enough. So the cut 2-0 advantage to start things out. 1K net worth lead as well. So when we look at the carries, basically a wash in terms of just the CS between the Terrorblade and the Medusa. But mid lane, obviously, like you said, Razor against basically any melee hero is going to be very Razor favored in general. Yeah. And if we look at the offlaners, 12-2 for the Dragon Knight and even with Sand King. See, mid lane, big static link for Kits. So he's going to be able to secure a lot of last hits here.
He's doubling up Ryoya already. Ade here will die.
Burrow Strike's not going to be enough, so simply TOOBASED able to secure themselves their first kill of the game.
Worth keeping in mind why Terrorblade is such a good matchup against Medusa in general is because it's one of the few carries that can just overpower her in a lot of situations. You have really high attack range when you go for the Dragon Lance, and then you just pop meta, you have your illusions, you lay into her. If she uses Stone Gaze, you can turn around, walk back a little bit, reset, and wait. And once that is over, you can just go to town again, and you're just stronger. Medusa, being a spread damage carry, also isn't the best at killing the illusions individually. They have high armor, so...
Yep, Bloody Sky. Looks like the support from the Mirana is going to be enough to break things up. And so you were saying that you like the late game better for the cut.
Yeah, okay. I think so. Also because they support scale really well. I think both Hoodwink and Death Prophet are two of the best in meta right now supports for late game. I would say Gyro falls off massively as a 5 in comparison, and I would also probably put Mirana a tier below both of them. If you have a really good game on Mirana, you can become a semi carry, but good damage here in mid.
Yeah, that is a very disgusting link from Kits. And it's going to force Ryoya completely out of the lane. The 6-minute power rune is coming up. We'll see who is able to secure themselves this one. Homing missile onto Kits to try to force him out, but if the rune spawns here, he's just going to grab it, and he does. And it's a haste, and he's going for this. The homing missile eventually does hit him.
He might just dive through here. He has
try for it. Plasma field is there. Ryoya able to dissimulate to safety, but it's still the enemy side of the map here for Kits. He's going to go on top of Empyrean with the rest of his team basically here, so they get one kill. Nope, Empyrean somehow lives through the day. Wow. Surprisingly enough, the cut does not get anything out of this, but did force a bunch of rotations and a little bit of damage to this tier 1 tower.
Yeah, probably if they were a little bit more coordinated there, they would have found a pick on either the Void Spirit or on the Sand King, but good defensive play from Simply, or not on the Sand King, on the Gyro, but good defensive play from Simply TOOBASED there at least too. Ryoya juking through the tree line and it covered each other pretty well. But as it stands, still starting to become a pretty meaningful lead now for the cut already 7 minutes in the lanes. Especially those two side lanes, or well, rather I should say the Dragon Knight lane and the Void Spirit lane are very far behind their counterparts. Terrorblade sitting about 1,000 net worth ahead of the DK, and mid lane is about 800. Yeah, just raw lane advantages. There's barely any kills on the board. Obviously, we had the first blood going to DP, so she's a little bit ahead. Actually, a 1K lead between the 5s, too, when you look at it.
Stone Gaze is going to be popped by Boris, and bottom lane, Ade able to get off the Burrow Strike. Bushwhack did not connect, it looks like, but the Epicenter is going to be enough to get themselves a kill. Ade is actually going to live as well, so Ollie not able to maneuver himself away, but looks like they'll still find the kill thanks to Flea's rotation. It's interesting, though, not specifically for this game, but NA DPC in general, it's just such a unique season, I feel like. Usually you have, like, it's 2 teams that are at the top, maybe 3, and then everybody else kind of feels around the same level, where now you have these very clear tiers with the first 2 teams being EG and TSM, with EG maybe, like, we haven't seen them face each other very recently, so who knows what that top tier looks
like. The matchup
like.
today between Quincy and EG, there definitely seems to be like a tier between.
I agree that they're a step behind, but I think Quincy Crew did look really bad today, and they don't usually. I think it's a really bad day.
If they played each other 5 times, they would be, you know, they would not look like that all 5 times.
Yeah, but then after that, it's just a crapshoot, right? After Quincy Crew, it's like very, very competitive. I mean, I know Simply TOOBASED are 0-4, but again, everybody else was basically 1-3 until very recently.
And 4 Zoomers as well as Wildcard don't really look a tier above the cut, in my opinion. I think they kind of...
I think that's the thing, though. That's what's interesting about it is 4 Zoomers, on paper, they look way better than what they have been looking, right? They've come around a little bit since the beginning of the season, so maybe that cohesion just wasn't there to start. But yeah, you're right. The cut has been the biggest surprise probably of this season, despite the record still only being 1-3.
Yeah. I feel like a likely outcome for them is a 3 and 4 score in the end, something like that, which should definitely secure them staying in the division.
Yep. Arrow. That was a blind one, I believe. Flea ends up hitting it. Homing missile to follow. Ryoya is thinking about it. It's going to force the TP out, though. You can see goes in with that astral step. That's going to be enough. He's going to try to get out of dodge, but in the meantime, some TPs from the cut have come into fruition. And it's going to result in a kill on the Bloody Sky.
And this just feels like an overall win for them. Sure, they trade 1 for 1, but it's an offlaner for support, and in the meantime, Ade is getting bot tier 1, whereas Scourge McDuck is just covering mid against Ollie, so overall map control gained here for the cut by far. And I love the fact that they're defending this top tier 1 tower. It's something I like to harp on a lot, and I feel like sometimes it's very easy to defend it and teams don't do it almost out of principle. It's like, we don't defend this tower. And other times it's really hard to defend. And then obviously it's understandable that sometimes you don't do it, but I really like seeing teams defend it when they are favored to find a hold. So
nice job by Ryoya to disrupt that combo.
the push will be returning top, but now at least the Bloody Sky has to use a dragon form for it because they defended and they found a kill on him. It will fall now, most likely. Yeah, it's definitely going to fall. Overlord will try cheek it an eye, perhaps. Oh, messed it up. We'll
messed it up real good.
Actually, he was in melee range with the tower, and I think he could have had it, but missed the timing a little bit.
Either way, they end up evening themselves on towers at the very least.
Yep.
But still, the cut, I mean, it's still, I mean, the laning stage is ending essentially, but 3K lead. And if simply TOOBASED are not careful, this could get out of hand really quickly.
And it's especially concerning because the last pick that they put in here in the Void Spirit, right? It wasn't the overall last pick of the draft, but their last pick is just not paying off at all. And it's the tempo hero that they chose for themselves, right? They picked it to
Bushwhack. Oh, all right. He gets blown up. Burrow Strike wasn't even needed in the end. And mid lane, Overlord getting full Rocket Barrage to the face. They're going to get the tower, but Empyrean is going to pay the ultimate price here. So 2 for nothing. And the cut.
Just too easy
really
for them.
Snowballing.
They didn't meet any resistance there, really. They kill off the Void Spirit, and then, like, what does the Radiant do after that?
Yeah.
They might get a bonus here.
Yep, Bushwhack as well. We talked about the amazing amount of stuns that simply TOOBASED have, which we haven't really seen come into effect. But the cut, they've set everything up with that Bushwhack as well. Burrow Strike into Bushwhack and into basically anything they want.
It just really comes down to how bad Ryoya's game is, right? Like, if you have a Void Spirit mid and he's suffering this hard, he's not going to be the playmaker that you're looking for usually. Just not enough in the tank, can't deal the damage himself, isn't high enough level. The Witchblade is still far away for him at 12 minutes, and that is with Brown Boots, not even going an upgraded like FaZe. Very, very far behind. And, you know, when you do choose to go for a pick like this as your last pick for mid, you're generally looking to at least break even in the lane or something like that so that you can, you know, bring the other lanes into the game. But in this game, it's kind of a liability. And it just means that the majority of the initiative will be coming from the Dire.
Yeah.
It just makes
they're going to try to go for him yet again. Burrow into Bushwhack. Sharpshooter goes right through him because he died.
Isn't it a good sign when you gank the enemy mid twice in a row and both times you use one spell too many? Like, it's just, they just have surplus of damage.
Indeed.
He could have another 400 health there and he's still toast, so.
And they get a courier.
Not a problem at all.
A very, very sloppy play here from simply TOOBASED, but the cut, like you said, have been a cut above the competition for that side of the bracket, at least, thus far. 4-man smoke now from the cut.
Ollie is in a very awkward position here, completely stranded.
Now, he does have Stone Gaze, but there's the Burrow, Epicenter, Bushwhack again, and goodbye. They kill him with their backs to him. That is never a good sign if you're a Medusa. I mean, you look hideous enough, you have to look away, but still dying after the fact.
Yeah, he has this one ward giving him a false feeling of safety that is in the top lane, but not covering from the river angle. Just farming
this could be a very good kill, though. Link reveal from the Bloody Sky. And they have quite a bit of damage, but is it going to be enough? The Sunder's there from Scourge, and that means it's enough time for the rest of the cut to come in. Bushwhack onto the gyrocopter. They have the vision, and they have the kill. Bloody Sky now getting right-clicked from afar. The Burrow Strike actually connects onto Ryoya, so just dying again. This is another shellacking, Cinder. I hate to say it, but it is not looking good. Bushwhack!
So
blind, just in time. Triple kill for Scourge.
What a great net from B-God.
Wow.
The B is for blind.
Apparently.
What a nice spellcast. I mean, there's not that many options to where Dragon Knight would have blinked, but you know, you just got to go for it there. I think that was a 0.1 second stun, by the way, on the TP. Super close to being out there. So nicely done there from B-God, catching the Bloody Sky and the absolute end of that TP. And 4 kills for none, again.
Yeah.
Just I say again, I think that's the first time, but rather no
again.
kill. No kill for Simply 2-Based again.
I know what you meant. Everybody watching knows what you meant for sure.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see how close this was.
Look at that bar. Oh, they clicked away from it, but it was 0.5 when they clicked away, and then there was a little bit of time until it landed.
Sure, you can do that internal math in your head.
Damn, you really like making me sound like a machine, huh?
Just do it. Do it real good.
Middle tower is under attack.
Well, he's kind of showing his face bot. I don't think they're interested in necessarily diving this blindly.
Yep.
But they will want to put pressure on the tower and just keep up the keep up this pace, rather. I was going to say pressure again.
Pressure it real good.
There it is.
All right, Ade gets the burrow again.
He's gone.
And this will result in, again, a kill. This time, the sharpshooter did connect.
Yep. This time it was on Dragon Knight.
That's right.
A little bit
That's going to be a tier 2 tower for the cut. I would assume Roshan will be soon-ish. Maybe they have to wait for the exorcism again. But they're getting so much map control. They get the outpost. Their tier 2 towers are still very healthy. And I mean, from Simply 2-Based perspective, we do this every time, Cinderin, and the games have been enormous shellackings today overall. What should Simply 2-Based do to get back in the game?
And do you know what we say about the Dire when the score is 3-14?
What's that?
Have a much bigger piece of the pie.
That's right, the pie indeed, Cinder. Very well done.
Thank you.
That's the less exciting scoreline. I'm sure people are waiting for some other ones to come. As Sharpshooter again, set up by the Burrow.
Well,
Simply 2-Based can't get anything right now.
Simply not good right now.
Okay, well, we might as well play an internal game here.
Okay.
Will we see 3-2-2 or 420? I mean, we're going to see one of them, almost certainly. Will Simply 2-Based get a kill before the 22 mark?
Good question. Which one's more likely? I'm liking the 420. I think Simply 2-Based will pull off some coordinated kill with their stuns, but they'll only get one and it'll cost them.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Have a lot of kills. Ade.
It's almost soloing the
Epicenter. Ollie will barely live through the engagement. There's the kill that you were talking about, Cinderin. All right, now we just got to see 7 in a row for the cut.
That's not how it works. It would be 5, but...
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking 3-2-2. That's NA math again. Man, what do we pay for school for, Cinderin? They're going to find their first one. All right. So 4 away, if my math is correct.
Very good. I can't believe Sanking almost soloed Ollie there.
Yeah, well, he paid the ultimate price. I mean, that's a big kill for Simply. I mean, any kill is a big kill at this stage, but the Sand King is quite fat. No doubt about it. Ollie's actually sticking around with very little HP. Overlom's going to be in the area, but won't be able to do too much other than D-ward there. All right, so back to the discussion. What can they do? Medusa item?
I thought I was casting with you, not Slacks, to be honest.
That was actually a Professor McGonagall impression. Do you know what Harry Potter is? What will they do? I'm still working on
that one. Sounded better than the first one.
Thank you. I'm still working.
You're improving.
We have plenty of time to improve in this absolute shellacking, and Gyrocopter is dead. The cut. 3 away from the ultimate dream.
Uh-oh, Ollie.
Ollie.
He's cooldown.
Fine. He's fine, Cinderin.
Just narrow cooldown there for Ade, and he couldn't see him either, keeping out in the trees. What can the Radiant do? So I think at this point you kind of have to wait for the Skadi on Medusa. I don't think you can wait on the Axe on Void Spirit. It's just way too far away. So Skadi on Medusa, look for some sort of a team fight where perhaps you get a key pick very quickly, like bursting the DP, or maybe you find the Hoodwink, especially. She's very easy kill here, 1,000 HP, just free kill. But the problem is, every single time we look at the map, it's just waves are pushed in for the Radiant, right? Like they're struggling to solve the non-stop pressure that Terrorblade is putting on the map. That's why this hero is so good when playing from ahead, because he's constantly pushing in 2 lanes with minimal risk compared to a lot of other carries. So you always have to do garbage duty first before you can make a move. And the Radiant's lineup just isn't handling that particularly well. I wouldn't say Gyro is a very good wave clear support. Mirana's okay. But it just limits them a lot because they always have to tend to the lanes.
Ooh. Oh man, that was actually really close.
EGOT is really going for these blind ones.
I mean, he is a B-God, so what can you say? 10K lead for the cut. They have Aegis. And it's their game to lose at this point.
That's a very negative way of looking at it.
Is it?
I think it's their game to win.
I mean, that's the saying, though. It's their game to lose.
Don't hit me with logic. That's my job.
I don't know if that's logic. That's just fact. I think it's a little bit different.
Don't hit me with facts. You don't know things.
That's fairly accurate. Although I am a professor in another life.
I thought you were going to say in another...
And I can turn into a cat.
In another subject, and then it would be like belching.
Yeah, we can talk about that for quite a while.
I have a doctorate in disgust.
It's not too far from the truth, I'm sure. I am part of the Degenerate Anonymous Club.
Uh-oh. Ryoya, what's he spotted there? Because BGOT could go for another blind one here.
They could.
If Ryoya tries to cut this wave.
Assimilate!
Ade was in the middle of a TP, so he couldn't blink stun. He's looking at
showing, and the sun. Oh, that actually did not connect, but he is sharpshooting. It's gonna hit the reflection! Oh, and the acorn shot will be dodged.
Nice try.
And Dragon Knight died somewhere else.
Yeah, so that was what Sand King TP'd bot for, was to connect onto the Bloody Sky. And that's why they didn't kill Ryoya mid. Those two things happened simultaneously.
And Scourge McDuck, he is looking very juicy right now. 13K net worth for him. Has the BKB, Dragonlance, Yasha, and is the Manta coming out, or is he just building Scotty?
Just going Scotty. I think it's fine. You could argue for both. I feel like Manta is actually a slightly weaker item here. There's like decent AoE damage when you combine the Radiant heroes. So just clean it up. It's rather just get really strong on your main and look for a high ground siege potentially. The Scotty's going to line up with probably having about a minute left on the Aegis. So if they time that well, they could go. Maybe that's a bit too optimistic. How much gold is he missing? 1,500. It might not overlap. That's 700 GPM.
Now, speaking of Scotty, Boris, aka Ollie, has his.
Yep.
Sitting on the casual, Yasha and Dragonlance as well.
So that is a potential timing for Simply TOOBASED now with the Scotty. And I'd love to see them try to take some initiative. I feel like they've been very, very quiet in this game. Oh no.
The smoke broke. They knew he was somewhere in the area. Epicenter to follow.
Now he doesn't have it.
He's getting silenced, and now no mana to cast the ult, and he is brought down to his knees. Which actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Medusa does not have knees.
She doesn't have feet.
Yeah, just no lower body, really. As Kits and company grouping up now, still with the Aegis.
What do you call what a snake is slithering on? Is that just its body? Is that just the word for that? She has no legs, she just has a body. Is that it? I guess the Scotty now actually, so we'll have a minute on the Aegis with Scotty here.
Yeah, I'm going to say I have no idea. It's probably not just called the body. I'm sure there's many names.
One more kill for the Dream, Shannon, as the prophecy foretold.
That's true. The prophecy foretold!
That is not McGonagall.
Kit's getting whipped up. We got the burrow strike. Will it be 420? Indeed, the sharpshooter ends up connecting. The 420 dream is real. I'm speaking very loudly so that I get excited about this match that is essentially over and has been for quite a while, unless there's a miracle for Simply TOOBASED.
Don't count your eggs until they are chickens, as they say.
That's a terrible saying.
Don't count your chickens until they're dead.
That is, you called me morbid. What the hell was that?
Oh, that's
All right,
a rack.
they get the melee rack. Scourge McDuck getting quite low, but still has the Aegis for another 20, so wouldn't really mind dying. Does lose his meta form, though. Arrow, all right, they have the setup. There's the jump in from Ryoya, and they're going to be able to blow up the Razor. That is a very big kill. And they find a second in the Sand King. So 3 kills off this defense. They do lose their melee racks, of course. Yeah. So the cut, I assume, is still fine with this.
Oh,
all
nice
right, Acorn shot with that bushwhack. B-God with a snipe, and he gets away with murder.
Damn. Yeah, that deserves a tip. That was the sexy
Where's
kill.
the neck pillow, though?
That was really good. Very, very nice. Huh? Oh, don't count them out just yet, Shen. They may have lost their Nino barracks, but they found 3 kills. They basically more than doubled their kills. Or, well, that's incorrect. They almost doubled their kills from the last 20 minutes.
That's true. What's the next number we look forward to?
Middle tower is under attack. Structures are fortified.
What's a 777?
Okay, I think that one, I'll just go out on a limb and say that's not going to happen.
Could you imagine, though?
God, I hope not.
Fountain farming them for 20 minutes.
My worst nightmare. I mean, that was, but they can go AFK to be invulnerable now.
That's true.
And then get abandoned
But this
because they're standing still.
This is a pro match, so you play until the Ancient falls, and that means you have to keep moving your heroes in the fountain.
Yeah, very
Try to kill the enemy.
All right, Manta now online for Boris. I mean, his net worth is not that bad. It's pretty respectable, all things considered. It's just the rest of his team can't really keep up with their counterparts.
Yeah, relatively speaking, he's the closest, I guess. Dragon Knight's pretty close to
Boom.
King. Oh, okay, got it off just barely before the silence.
All right, the sharpshooters have been on point today for B-God. Always fun to see a hoodwink with great aim. Aimbot, some would say.
I think the 2 players from the cut that have impressed me the most this season are probably B-God and Kits. I praised Kits a lot their last series against Quincy, which they did end up losing, but Kits was looking very good against Quinn in lane, especially in game number 1, if I remember correctly. And yeah, those 2 are definitely making a name for themselves here, I would say.
Simply 2-based Moonlight Shadow, but don't really find anything with it. And I mean, we talk about this all the time. Anytime you're in a deficit like this and you're waiting for the next Roche, either you got to take some risks, I would assume, or perhaps try to steal Roche, if that's even possible to do. I mean, their Roche team is not that great. That is the unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
Got to just have a superior lineup for that.
Invisibility.
It's kind of rough. It feels like you really want to find the fight as Radiant, but it's also super hard to take it. You're fighting into a Refresher Razor. What? Hang on, what was that? All right. Didn't get Flea.
Oh! B-God.
Okay.
Oh my God!
Anyway.
He's too good!
There's nothing this kid can't do.
He's too good! Look. Man. It's aimbot big time. That's crazy. And the bushwhack, if it was just a little... Isn't there a neutral that increases your projectile speed?
It doesn't work on both.
That's not for spells though, right? It's just for auto attacks.
It's just for attacks.
That would be an interesting... I mean, it's very situational, but it would just be like a side part of the item. That would be kind of cool for...
That would be really good on some spells to have fast projectile speed.
That arrow, hook, that would be amazing. Bring back the old hook speed via neutral item. That's a big buff for Pudge.
Death Prophet Silence.
Yeah, true.
There's plenty of those. E-Blade.
Yeah, keep naming stuff. Keep going. Don't stop.
That's it.
Okay.
There are no more spells in the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dragon Tail in dragon form.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Epicenter Burrow. Only onto 1, but
good force
it's
staff.
enough. He got
it was good, but he still died, but it was a good force staff.
He just wanted to see the face of his killer, which is B-God. The Hoodwink's face up close and personal. So 40 seconds, no Dragon Knight, and that should open up the Roche pretty cleanly for the cut.
All right, Shannon, if you had to be killed by an animal,
yeah,
how high up your list is Squirrel?
It's pretty
Would you rather be killed by a squirrel or by some like actually fearsome animal?
Probably a fearsome animal.
Because you feel like that's more like...
Well, the squirrel, number one, it would be more embarrassing. And secondly, it sounds more painful because it's death by 1,000 knives, essentially, right?
It depends if the squirrel has a crossbow.
Well, if it's a crossbow, then that's pretty quick death, I would think.
Yeah.
Especially with B-God's aim. But if it's...
You're saying he's a squirrel in real life, too?
I don't know where you're going with this.
Same.
There's no joke there.
No?
Pretty sure.
Oh, this is an off-screen cam. Can we get the despair cam?
Yeah, the despair cam, let's... Anything at this point.
And they immediately just go to Rio. That's pretty...
Yeah, he's had a mega rough game.
That's been a harsh game for the Void Spirit, that's for sure.
Empyrean gets burrowed, and he's isolated and brought down.
Good arrow.
Okay, arrow connects onto the Razor that jumps into the actual step. They're going to be able to clean up one. Big kill for Simply TOOBASED. They buy back on the gyrocopter. They get the Death Prophet on the sideline as well, which means the cut need to reset and wait. Oh, arrow again. All right, Flea doing a very good job. Has the Spirit Vessel applied. Now Scourge does get off the Sunder, though.
Barely.
Still has the Aegis. Does not want to waste it. Still a lot of time left, so this is actually a pretty valuable save overall. Now focusing on the tower. Razor does have buyback. Obviously does not want to use it for a little engagement like this, so...
So when you see an engagement like that from Simply TOOBASED, you're just wondering, where was that, like, killer instinct
earlier?
15 minutes ago. I don't feel like there's really significant changes that made that possible, except that their heroes were playing together. It didn't seem like itemization to me, or like, oh, the Void Spirit Ags was totally integral to pulling that off. They just went together and cast their spells and went for it, and they just burst the Razor. It's a pretty good despair cam.
Wait, is he crying? Is that a
Yeah.
tear coming out of his eye? I never noticed that little detail.
See, you're not very well versed in Twitch culture shit.
No, I'm not. I agree.
That is both good and bad. Mostly good.
I keep part of my sanity, but then I lose it talking to you all day.
Yeah. Little known fact about me, I speak in memes in real life.
Yeah, that's...
I say, wow, this is a really good burger, Keck W.
So when you...
I definitely don't. Okay, if any of the talent, let's just...
Okay.
If any of the talent were to speak in Twitch memes, who would it be and why is it Lacoste?
Other than Lacoste.
You think it would be Owen over Lacoste?
No. I thought you were saying outside of Lacoste.
Ah, okay.
Of course.
So we agree. Lacoste number one.
Yeah.
He's a memer king. He loves his frogs.
That's true.
He has the biggest collection of Pepes I've ever seen.
Huge.
Absolutely enormous. Oh, are we going to use this Aegis is the question. 2 minutes left. It looks like Scourge wants to go bot. He has 20 seconds on meta. I think once that is available, you are starting to knock on the front door.
Yep.
Smoking pre to see if they can find a pick. Getting this Dragon Knight killer would actually be really, really nice before the siege. He will have gold for buyback, but now he won't because he just bought a Void Stone and an energy booster. So this is the perfect timing to get this kill.
Yeah, that's going to be an easy one. Another sharpshooter. B-God. How much damage? Can we get that damage graph up when you guys get a chance?
Yeah, he might have done most damage for his team, actually.
It's going to be up there, no doubt. He's had a really good game.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I feel like I've seen more sharpshooters than I've ever seen in a pro.
Force the high ground mid here would be great. Sanking number one, Hoodwink number two.
Yep. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. And onto the high ground they go for a second time with the Aegis still intact for another minute and a half. And we can see DK down for 30 seconds. No buyback. Scourge McDuck wants to save meta. Has Demon Zeal, by the way, so is doing quite a bit. Actually pops the BKB, gets the Sunder off as well. Holding on
the silence
to that meta still.
Pop sharp.
Exorcism doing quite a bit, but Overlom has to get to safety. A little bit too much damage, knowing that the DK will be back. Oh, arrow is going to be enough.
Nobody wanted to take that for him.
Yeah,
they just sold him. They just.
You can tell they thought about it, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's Overlom, you know. Oh, I think a bit of a mistake there from Scourge, like you pointed out. I think BKBing that opening. There is ample time.
Watch Ade. I think he he stutter steps. He's like, eh.
Like Overlom's camera there. He's just staring at his screen. He's like, yep, this is it. This is how it ends. So the problem here for Terrorblade is popping the BKB there on the first life makes him hesitant to commit because he's worried about dying again if he is to die. So if if he hadn't BKB'd there, I think they actually get Elena Barracks. So a pretty big mistake, in my opinion, from Scourge, because like if they were to kill him the first time, so what? He's going to respawn, pop BKB meta, and get the racks. But this way, you actually just open an avenue to victory for the Radiant in that fight. And I guess now correctly identifying that that was not a go, but now what? Now it's run out. Yeah, so are you going to chill now, or are you still going to high ground with your Satanic? He has so much health. He's like 4k health and a Titan Sliver. He's very, very strong for this siege.
I mean, they've grown their lead, but it hasn't been as dramatically as I was expecting.
Yeah, same. They've been floating a huge advantage in this game for quite a while, but not closing it out just yet.
And there's a smoke.
Which arguably might be one of the things that separates this team from, you know, Quincy, for example, which we saw when these two teams faced off, the cut against Quincy, I would say both games were pretty even minute 20, and then Quincy just beat them on late game experience.
Ollie! Oh, gets forced that because the Divine Raper. They really want this kill. That's the first miss from B-God all game long. Bloody King looks like he's going to be the one to die inside his own base.
When did he become a king?
And the cut. Looking to try to get their second lane of racks. Can simply TOOBASED defend 4v5 with Divine Rapier on Medusa? I don't disagree with this build at all.
I think it's good. I think he needs to
pretty much have to go for this. And they're going to take this advantage with 40 seconds of DK on the deck. BKB forced out by the Astral Step from Ryoya. But they're going to have to defend here. They cannot give up Mega Creeps. There's no way. Astral Step onto a bunch of heroes, but Scourge McDuck pops the BKB. And the Stone Gaze from afar, so Scourge has to re-evaluate things here as B-God misses another sharpshooter, but this will be Mega Creeps in the Cut's favor.
Got it with 0 casualties and without Aegis. Just super clean. Could have maybe been even better with some different target selection. I don't know if they need to jump on the Medusa like this. Maybe they could have found other kills. Their heroes are relatively healthy. I don't think this Rapier Medusa is just going to claw right through them when Dragon Knight's dead. But either way, it's kind of, you know, picking apart the small things. They got the big job done. And they might look to end now. At least they seem pretty confident. You could... I think the safest play here is waiting for another meta. And if you want to play it like super safe, you wait for Roche.
Yeah, we'll see how safe they want to play it. Obviously, I mean, if there wasn't a Divine Rapier, then I could see them just going when their cooldowns are up. But now, maybe playing it a little bit more cautiously, perhaps. But we'll see as they jump in.
No BKB.
Yeah, and this looks to be an easy kill for simply TOOBASED. Very valuable one on kits.
That's something. It is very, very difficult to win. Okay, so... when you're against Mega Creeps, obviously you're at a huge disadvantage, but it gets really amplified when you're playing against either an illusion-based carry or someone like Nature's Prophet, right? Because there's like, in addition to the waves that are always shoving in that you need to handle, there's going to be that extra bit of garbage that always needs to be cleaned up, because the Terrorblade illusions are going to count as an extra creep wave every time. So it's just so hard to get out on the map. If Scourge just keeps sending Terrorblade illusions to 2 lanes at a time, he's effectively forcing 1 to 2 heroes to play defense almost non-stop. So even if they find this kill on Kits, like let's say they killed Kits and Ade here, for example, 2 cores, I don't even know if they still get to cross the river, realistically speaking, with Terrorblade in play. So, very, very difficult. Ryoya has to commit basically his entire kit to kill a wave.
So, okay, let's talk about this in theoretical terms then, from a Medusa standpoint. What items do you need to feel like you have a chance to come back here? Because... obviously, Mega Creeps before the 40-minute mark is pretty dire situation, despite being on Radiant. What do you need to add to your arsenal? Because I assume boots are not part of the equation, so you have 2 slots really to work with.
I'd like to find spider legs, and then.
Okay.
If you, depending on whether you have them, I think you need Roshan too. Like, not necessarily so you have the Aegis, but so that your team has an advantage. Because. Like, even if Medusa is 6-slotted here with the ideal items, you're still facing the same problem. Like, how do we get into winning position on the map? So, I think the BKB is a good pickup, and you have a solution for all these stuns, the silences. But you're still susceptible to getting drained by Razor.
Oh, Ryoya! Caught out, brought down. You can see the Agnum Scepter there for B-God with that good old-fashioned boomerang. And it's actually going to be... oh, man. Roshan is about to spawn in about 10 seconds.
Yep. The Radiant are in no position to contest this if Scourge just keeps sending illusions down mid and top. They can just chill and wait for heroes to show in the Radiant base.
Yeah, and this is the will be the okay. Got the initiation onto the Death Prophet. You can see Ryoya bought back into the game. Ade, he's gonna have to force his BKB out, but he dies shortly after. So buys back, does not have BKB to work with though.
Oh, they got
now on the run. Ollie, static link. That's a double one with the ult from Razor. Burrow Strike's only gonna connect on one because of the BKB. Can they get this Divine Rapier? Maybe they just focus everybody else instead. The Cut have lost a couple heroes now, so they're at a disadvantage. The Cut need to back up. Scourge forced to thunder his own illusion. God is too good for Dota. He will be brought out, though, into his grave. He's too good. He's just too good to live for this long, right?
All right. Damn, okay. They actually... That was a 7K gold swing, I think.
Okay, they have a chance now with Roshan being up. I think this gives enough vision for them to see.
So first life, Ade BKBs, but doesn't Burrow Strike away and gets killed.
Yeah.
Buys back, comes back in, doesn't have BKB. Gets caught again, dies again. The Death Prophet died without getting ulti off. There was a lot of things there that went wrong. They got a full drain on the Razor onto Medusa, but Medusa was BKB. This is the fresh BKB she picked up. And the Burrow Strike from Sand King was off by like half a second on the timing. This actually has potential to get interesting.
Yeah, and Roshan is going to be the key center point of this engagement. They know that it's a dieback on Sand King, so it's a 4v5 once Mirana comes back, but only a 20-second discrepancy between the respawn timers.
I feel like Scourge in this situation is not in the right place in the map with this Terrorblade. I think at this point you want to play in the bottom half and just send illusions at the waves to defend Roche, technically. Like, you just... Effectively, Simply TOOBASED just had like a minute without creeps in their base, and I think that's avoidable. I understand he wants to play defensively and not get caught, but if that's the call, is to push their base, then you could move down there together with your team, right? And start forcing the enemy team back, essentially, or do some sort of a different split, like maybe play around the mid area so the illusions can still reach in time. It still worked out okay here with the buyback of their Hoodwink.
It's only 10K net worth right now.
This is definitely within reach.
That last fight really did a number on the Cut. And
experience lead for the Radiant.
Yeah, which is... I mean,
for the first time in the whole game. They're still behind on gold and on Gaben points. They have a 5th of those.
A Gaben point? That sounds like a great NFT for the future, Sin. Thank you. Gaben coin.
Gabe coin.
Yeah, Scourge has been sitting up here. See what they want to do. Obviously, buybacks are going to be pretty important for anytime you have an advantage like this. As their lead starts to dwindle a bit, they're going to smoke up. And we'll see what they can do with this potential initiation. Obviously, the Aether Remnant very good at scouting out for Roshan.
They know Mirana is in the Radiant base, but they...
Oh, they scan.
Is
that an illusion?
That was the Medusa illusion, so... Yeah. They get fooled into thinking something's going on, but it isn't. So nice little play there, coming out from Ollie. This is not an easy attack to make for the Cut, actually. This position that the Radiant is holding is very strong, and sure, even if the Mirana's in the enemy base, you can still lose that fight 5v4 with a Medusa Rapier standing on the high ground.
Yeah.
So you got to be selective about how you attack this. And again, I feel like they should just force into the base. Like, illusions, send them in there, make someone else come back, which is the Medusa in this case. Now you could attack if you wanted, right? Like, now you made a core show in the enemy base, so you've opened up yourself a path. That's exactly what they're going to do here. So now they claim the high ground. This was all because they sent 2 terrible illusions into the Radiant base.
Yeah, and they're going to try to get a pick off to allow just for a little space in order to get Roshan uncontested. Keep in mind that for Boris, he does have the 25 talent now, so split shot modifier with the Scotty.
Scott,
it's a pretty big power spike for him individually.
He could buy Refresher now too. He made himself 7K gold.
So just with those pushes down the lane, it gives the free Roche for the Cut. This is a Refresher shard, so double meta potentially if he wants to be the one to hold it. Or he could do...
Is this gonna be free?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, they're too late.
Maybe Refresher shard for Razor, so you get 3 ults.
I think you should give it to Terrorblade.
Yeah, he's going to hold it.
The Aegis to Razor.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Terrorblade Illusions again are going to walk up, but this time I don't think it's going to see anything. Worse smokes on Simply TOOBASED in that situation.
Yeah, Scourge actually bought the Tome of Knowledge. Wants to get his 25 talent.
Yeah.
Not really that close, though. right now. Still tail end of 23. I assume meta duration is what everybody takes these days.
It depends, I think. But in this game, I imagine you take that one. The fights are pretty long. I definitely think there's a case to be made for Sunder in some games.
All right. Scourge with that Demon Zeal, that's helped him farm quite well in this melee form. I see a lot of Terrorblades like never go for that, and then some. Like it feels like it's from a player-to-player thing. But
Did he buy it, or did he get it from the second Roche?
No, he bought it a while ago.
He bought that, okay.
Yeah. Okay, don't quote me. I actually don't remember. I'm pretty sure he bought
it. This was Roche number 4, right?
Yeah. This is Roche number 3.
Oh, it's number 3. Yeah, number 3. He might have got it from the second.
Yeah, maybe he did. It is possible. Let's see who else has short right now.
Sand King has one. He probably bought his.
And Death Prophet has hers.
Probably bought that too.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'll take your word for it.
I feel like Terrorblades generally don't want to buy it just because of the insane value of getting stats, right? In general. You just really want to deck yourself out, and it's just a nice luxury to get for free.
Yeah, so simply TOOBASED, if you're just joining us, have yet to win a series in the DPC.
Yet to win a game even, I think.
Yet to win, yeah, that's true. And we kind of saw why early.
Yeah.
Lanes did not go well, but since they've been stuck in their base after mega creeps, they have looked way better. Part of that could be the cut making some errors, let's say, but Simply TOOBASED able to take good advantage of that at the very least.
Some of Simply TOOBASED's players have been playing with Envy in the past, so might have been able to absorb some of that, like...
Yeah, late game shenanigans.
The life force of every time you lose barracks, you get stronger.
Right. Hey, I can appreciate that.
Lose barracks, sorry, not get barracks.
Right.
Every time you get racks, you get stronger.
Indeed.
I believe out of these players, how many of them have played on a team with Envy in the past, actually? So Ryoya for sure. I think Flea might have. Boris maybe 2. I think that's it. So 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
If it's going down the Envy lore, then when you get the 60-minute neutral, something crazy happens.
Yep.
And it's a 50-50 on who it benefits. But I'm not sure we're going to get to that point. As in the base, the cut goes. They have a bunch of buybacks to work with now. The arrow is going to connect onto the Razor. Astral Step to safety, but they could have tried to blow up this Razor instead. This is just the Aegis, though. That will be expended. Scourge McDuck and company will likely try to reinforce here. Kits pops the BKB along with that ult of his. Going to use the BKB on Medusa. Refresher Orb used as well, so we'll have another Stone Gaze to work with. Arrow connects on the Scourge McDuck, but he pops the BKB, getting a lot of right clicks on the Bloody Sky, but might want to reset thanks to that Stone Gaze. Lincoln's applied to him right now. Does he have Sunder available? He does. We'll have to use it on a teammate in order to survive this onslaught. All of this and 0 deaths thus far. So much used. As I say that, the Sand King finally dies. Ade not able to survive that.
Yep,
that's the Aegis down.
That's a great hold. They got the Aegis, they got the kill on Sand King. All they had to use was the Medusa Refresher. That's completely fine. And the way that the cut were trying to set that up with a precast Hoodwink ult and a blink stun from Sand King, the Radiant were ready for it and reset out, and Ade gets caught in this really awkward position. He blinks in. He has the Eon Disc this time, so at least he gets to survive for a little bit, but again, on the reinitiate, he just gets taken out. And it's the arrows. It's Flea hitting these big arrows that just gives them so much time. Set up sometimes by the Dragon Tail and sometimes not, but they keep finding these picks in their base, you know? It's just a matter of a long time before they can push.
I mean, we're Cinderin, I don't want to call it too early. We are 13 minutes away from the dream. If they get to this point...
I thought the dream was 420. That's way long ago.
That was already achieved last game.
No, that was this game. It was in this game, the score was 4-20.
That's
Since
true.
then, it's gone 12-7.
This is somehow still game 1.
Yeah, it's the same game.
It feels like 2 different games.
Yep.
Jesus. Gaben.
It is still the same game.
Okay, well, the ultimate second dream. Where am I?
That was Professor McGonagall. Well, the 2 towers are half health this time, so DP did do a dent in that with the Exo this push. But
I mean, how big is a 12k lead at this stage? It doesn't feel that big.
It's not really about the gold, it's about the map position, right? Like, the Radiant are still struggling, even though they're doing some admirable defense. The they're not progressing the game. They're not getting a Roche. They're not getting towards a tower, right? They've taken 2 towers in this 50-minute game.
Right.
So they're not really crossing. They're kind of playing to stay in the game, and I want to see when this is going to pay off for them. If they get any progress.
Okay. What's next for the Medusa? So she has Refresher Orb, but obviously at this stage of the game, that's got to be a backpack item, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So the next
Blink.
Swift Blink, really? You don't want to go some hard DPS?
I think it's the best damage item she can buy.
Okay.
Because you managed to position yourself for Stone Gaze, and that is your damage amp.
Fair enough.
So it's also very useful when you're playing without boots. It's a big help to have Swift Blink.
And maybe if they can somehow sneak that next Roche, Aghanims for her would be pretty good.
Yeah, you could also take that route against Terrorblade. That's probably not that bad. I still think Swift Blink was probably edges it out here, but... Well, another good hold, but again, the gold is now going to continue the cut sway. They get every bounty rune. They keep farming 2 jungles as much as they like. Looks like Flea has finally made a little bit of a pilgrimage mission across the river to see what is how it's going on over here. And he will now be farming some jungle.
Yeah, if you look at the... I mean, at this stage, if you look at the position, or the cores from each team and the discrepancies.
Oh.
You see, Dragon Tail initiation. This looks to be a dead Death Prophet right off the bat, but the epicenter from Ade is going to be mitigated thanks to the BKB, 4-staff to safety, as Bloody Sky is just fine. Looks like B-God missed a sharpshooter. Very rare occurrence for him. As Flea takes the Arcane Rune, actually dodging Bushwhack as well. I think they get a little bit of vision there, but it's not going to be enough to stop that TP. So again, the cut kind of getting... Anytime they've entered the territory, let's say, of Simply TOOBASED, they have lost a member, and now it delays the game again.
Yep. Not the hero you wanted to have in front there to get caught, the Death Prophet. You want Sand King ideally with his Eon Disc, or maybe a tanky core, or of course Terrorblade Illusions, but I don't remember if that was a smoke or not. I don't think... Was it a smoke from the ring? I think it was just Moonlight Shadow. Like, you're always going to be susceptible to that in these late game situations. You're going to have less sentries available because they're running out of stock. So you need to play tight around your gem if you want to not get jumped by Mirana teams.
Yeah.
And Scourge's meta is now going to run out again. Even with that level 25 talent, it is expiring.
And we'll see if Simply TOOBASED want to try to take advantage of this, but piggybacking on what I was saying earlier, if you look at the core net worth on the left there, if you compare the position ones, at this stage, that's pretty much a wash.
Yeah.
You compare the off lanes, DK versus Sand King, pretty much a wash. Then it's the mids, 25k versus 17. That is that's almost the entire lead for the cut is on the Razor. Kind of crazy.
That said, though, Ryoya's net worth actually has quite a lot of value. He's managing to burst these supports really quickly and getting a man advantage. So that's something the Razor can't really do with his net worth. He needs like long built-up fights to output his damage. So
Eon Disc perhaps on the menu for some of these guys is, again, Death Prophet getting gone on. That's the arrow from the Dragon Tail setup. They don't have enough damage to actually finish him off, though. Static Link is going to force Bloody Sky to the low ground again.
I feel like I'm seeing the same fight play out over and over. Dragon Knight goes up and stuns somebody. He gets Static Linked, and then he 4-steps down, and that's the end of the chase. Like, every time.
I mean, it's a battle of cooldowns as well, right? You got a couple heroes that have transformation abilities with the DK and the meta.
Yep.
You have Exorcism. And Razor, 25 talent going for the attack speed. Is that surprising to you, considering the refresher? Oh, wait, I forgot they changed it.
Yeah, it's a different one.
Yeah, it's not
now.
a 20. Okay. It's the 20 talent. That's the
Eye of the Storm, yeah.
Eye of the Storm.
2 Static Link charges seems overkill when you already have refresher.
Right. You need the Ags to get that now. All right. So Roshan will be up in 15 seconds. This one will have Ags and Refresher Shard.
And it's going to inflate the net worth of the Dire so that when they push the next time and die,
the comeback
will
mechanic.
get more gold.
Yeah. But Simply TOOBASED, you can see. Wait, how much? 13,000.
Here we go again.
Okay, B-God's dead. That's the gem. That's more net worth in the pocket now of Simply TOOBASED. But look at the gold for Medusa. This is obscene. Why would you want 14k gold right now?
Yeah, you should probably buy an item now.
I mean, even if it's just an Ags to consume. And speaking of Ags, looks like Roshan is going to be clean for the cut. And I would assume the Ags goes to Razor, even though Scourge's is pretty damn good as well. Yeah, they'll go for that. And actually, they still want to fight, apparently. BKB popped by Kits, popping that ult. Imperium's in a lot of trouble, as well as the Dragon Knight. DK actually able to TP out successfully. Buyback from B-God. As you can see, the Medusa just stuck in the base, trying to defend these creeps.
And this is the first time that Simply TOOBASED tried to take a fight close to the river area, and that is just not the same as taking it close to the base with the angles that they found to reset before. This time around, when Dragon Knight tries to get out, he actually has to TP. He can't just force staff down and outrange the enemy team.
All right, she bought Aghanim Scepter, Cinderin.
Yep.
It's happened. And Boots of Travel 2. Okay.
Where are they?
Ambitious, as we're going to see the initiation. Eondis is going to proc on the Sand King. Gets Dragon Tailed after the fact. Bloody Sky is going to get hit by B-God. It looks like the cut. Just trying to play the slow game here. As the initiation again. This time Sand King will be successful kill. He does have buyback to work with, though, as the gem drops to the deck. DK's dead. No dragon for him to work with, despite having his buyback available. And only one tier 4 tower remaining. We'll see if Kits and company want to reset, or if they're happy with this exchange because they still have that Aegis for a little bit now. All right, so Medusa has Aghanim's. Okay, so she is going Demon Edge. Is this just going to be a Divine, or is it going to be Daedalus?
Did she buy Travels 2 and then sell them, and then the stat came up that it was first purchased ever, and she doesn't even have them?
And she just wanted the record.
Oh.
I mean, technically it's true, right?
Yeah, it's technically bought, yeah. She owned them. Sold them back for full value.
So, yeah, what's the play here? Do they have evasion? Does she need MKB?
Double rapier?
Let's see.
I don't know.
Yeah, Butterfly on TB. Okay.
Yep. Might buy MKB for that. Swap out the refresher, I suppose.
Yep. I mean, if you want the you have to drop either Manta or your Hurricane Pike, don't you? If you want to fight. So you have the refresher available. Or do you pop Manta and then put Refresher Orb from
Every time Refresher's on cooldown, you can at least swap that, right?
Yeah.
It's an option. Obviously, it's going to cool down slower, but...
Alright, they're waiting for Sand King to come back the old-fashioned way. I thought they might...
Spawning.
Yeah, I thought they... I thought they might actually force that, because even if DK had buyback, he wouldn't have Dragon Form anyway.
Yeah.
But playing it safe. I mean, this game has been quite sloppy from both teams, really.
The cut played super well for really long, and then when it was crunch time and they had to end the game, they've been caught out a lot.
Oh, for staff, nice.
They have definitely struggled with finishing it out.
Aegis for 2 more minutes.
And I will say, it is a kind of a tricky team to push into, but...
Oh, they're going to see Kits. They get the stun, but the Burrow Strike, beautifully done. Doesn't result in a kill, but it definitely saves his life.
Yeah, they did not.
And Medusa ult was popped as well, so he's going to have to pop the refresher, but probably has to wait for the BKB.
It's on cooldown as well.
Oh, that's true, 30 more seconds. So no Stone Gaze to work with. Ollie pops the BKB, just trying to go up front. Man mode versus Razor, and Razor's getting destroyed right now, thanks to that Divine Rapier. That is just the Aegis, though. And Medusa completely out of mana. Looks like Boris will die, but does have buyback. They can just go for the Ancient now the fortification is down. MKB picked up in a last-ditch effort to stay alive. 3 buybacks for Simply TOOBASED, but the buildings are falling. But do they have enough to actually take out Scourge McDuck? No. GG's to the cut. They made this interesting, did Simply TOOBASED, but my goodness, this started out as one